someone to take over that space. And right now it looks a little bit bleak with the traffic, but in my opinion, and it's my humble opinion, I think a coffee shop would do well.
Any particular name?
Which one?
Because for the foreseeable future, SkyWest will be continuing that early morning flight, and that flight goes out 7 days a week. So I can see the possibility of a successful coffee shop type business there. Because for every flight that goes out, you've got 15 to 20 employees who need their coffee at 5 in the morning.
Steve, have you ever reached out to a particular place here in town way back in the beginning? I don't think you were here yet, Stephanie. Have we?
I think when we talked about that 3 or 4 years ago, I think when this all initially started, I think there was some discussion with one of the, I don't think Duncan was here yet. I think there was some talk
No,
with,
they weren't.
with Tim Hortons, I think.
The RFP might be the way to go.
I think it would be the fair thing to do.
Yeah. You know, but that would be nice to have out there.
Yes, it would.
Someplace that sells coffee. Anything else?
The traffic's gonna change out there. This isn't gonna last forever.
That's right. And then folks are going to be anxious to get back to doing what they need
Whatever
to
they
do.
were doing.
Yep. It'd be rough for, hopefully, no weather month. Hopefully. No unfinished business, Steve?
No.
Business items, general administration, A1. Approval of appointment of OBPA Health Plan and Welfare Plan Trustee.
The master agreement between the Great Lakes Stevedore employers and the Great Lakes District Council Atlantic Coast District International Longshoremen's Association requires establishment of a health plan and welfare plan. As such, the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority is required to appoint a trustee to the collective administer the health plan and welfare plan respectively for members and participants of the local 217A International Longshoremen's Association. Staff recommends Stephen Lawrence, interim executive director, to be appointed to the trustee to the health and welfare plan, health plan and welfare plan, having 2 votes respectively in the administration of the plans to ensure equal voting authority. As part of this obligation, insurance will be purchased at no cost not to exceed $5,000 to protect the authority and its trustees from any and all claims associated with the administration of the health plan and welfare plan.
This is a standard resolution we have to do whenever we
Yes.
have a change in.
And I, in light of where we are, I did think, we kind of thought about maybe holding off, but it doesn't make sense. There'll be a lot for the new CFO to do. I do understand it. I already have sat in on one teleconference with the people in the finance department. I've got a pretty good understanding where we're kind of sorting some things out and just getting down to getting these resolved. And I guess I have the background on some of that to understand that. I do have a background with union pension plans and understand that. So for now, I'll do it, and I don't see it as being a huge taking of my time, so I don't mind doing that. And if it comes to where we feel the CFO should be the trustee, then we can do that, but I don't mind doing that for now. And we can go forward with some of the things that need to be resolved right now.
Motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second? Any discussion? Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Byrne?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten? Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you. Agenda item A2, approval of airport rates and charges 2020.
No?
This is the same thing we talked about,
Yes.
the facilities
There is a discussion that needs to come up here. When we met with the finance department, finance committee, life was a lot simpler then. And in light of where we are right now, I would recommend that we just postpone, A2 and A3 to it just seems that with everything going on with airports, that for customers to have to worry about a rate hike or anything else, just seems might appear to be tone deaf on our part. So I'm just making that recommendation.
I think that's a good recommendation. The more you think about what is occurring and how it affects the airport, I don't think we have anything to gain at the present time if we go ahead and approve this. We may want to wait a while. So
And
is there a motion to table?
A2 and A3?
Yes.
I'll move the table.
Second? Any discussion? Can we call a roll on tabling A2 and A3, please?
Mr. Coffin?
Aye.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten? Mr. King?
Yes.
Motion carried.
could I just say one thing I should have said in discussion, but I appreciate all the work you did, Stephanie,
Oh,
on that.
absolutely.
It's all in place, kind of, and we may need to tweak it and bring it back to the,
Yes.
to the, was it the finance committee or facilities committee we went to?
Facilities.
Yes, so we may bring that back there, but everything's in place.
Yeah.
It's a good plan,
Yeah,
Yes.
just things are changing
Yeah.
daily.
Things quickly, didn't they? And I do have the information that you had requested about, I guess it was A3.
Yep,
Do you want to hear that now?
yes, well, I would like to.
Okay. I looked up the contract, and the contract states with parking revenues, the base fee from $0 to $200,000 of gross, it is $30,000 a year. From $200,000 to $300,000 gross revenue, there would be a 15% incentive added to the $30,000 for anything above the 200,000, from 200 to 300, and then over $300,000, the incentive would be 10%. So, I'm not 100% sure what we have, what we've been grossing in revenue. I do not think we've hit the $200,000 annual mark yet.
The gross sales, we
Gross.
have,
We have.
right,
Yeah.
Maria? I think we're on track to be $250,000 this year.
I'll have to look into it.
If I looked at it this morning,
Okay.
just
This is
extrapolating.
Just in parking fees,
Yes.
that we are?
I think right now we're at 225 through 10 months. I was looking on this morning, and then I was just trying to, because of
Right,
you,
MAPCO has sent us the statement and they were charging something more than more than 200,000 subtracted out, and we owe them some money for the $6,000.
right,
I think we owe, that's hit more than that.
Let's go back.
Yeah,
Let's back up a second. So at 200,000 in gross fees, right, we send how much?
30,000, you get 30,000 per fee, right?
Correct, 30,000 is a base fee, and then a 15% incentive on anything over 200,000.
Then 15% of
Of whatever that
No.
difference is over
We're
200.
correct.
That's correct.
happens if they don't hit 200,000? Is it still the 30?
Yes,
Up to,
that's
yeah.
Yeah,
30%
So no matter what it is?
okay, so it doesn't really change the 10% until 300,000.
Right.
And it's still 30,000
30,000 annual.
plus,
The 15%, right?
right? But then when you get 300,000, it's still 30,000 plus 10%
Mhm.
of everything over
300,000.
Plus 15.
plus, right?
The 15.
You still get the 15 on the 100,000 between 200 and 300, right?
So they'd be at 45,000 at 300, and then
Right.
whatever over that would be.
Exactly.
400.
Yeah, okay. Now, that has nothing to do with what we paying for the equipment, the arms.
Expenses. Or, no, that's a loan, yes.
Yeah, that part
But
is.
the total-
That's
that's
entirely
all.
different.
That was a loan.
It's separate from that.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
That's actually the first time since that contract was read to us that I remember that.
Thank you.
Okay. Agenda item, I'm sorry, are there any other questions for Stephanie before we move on? No? Agenda item A4, Steve?
Disposal of surplus authority property at public bid. The Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority owns 11.59 acre parcel of land at the intersection of Route 37 and Trooper Sean W. Snow Street, referred to as the Bridge Approach Parcel. The authority has owned this land since the early 1950s. For everybody, that's the green space right there where you pull out onto 37 and be, as you're heading out of here, it'd be on your left. In an effort to sell this parcel for development, the Board of Directors at their May 14th, 2018 meeting approved the hiring of a real estate broker to market the site for sale and/or lease at a sale price of $24,200 per acre. This contract ran from June 1st, 2018 until May 31st, 2019. Due to lack of interest, the Board of Directors at its May 2nd, 2019 meeting extended the real estate broker contract through December 31st, 2019 and reduced the sale price to $12,080 per acre. This lower price was consistent with the March 6, 2018 appraisal done by Michael Varley, MAI, who appraised the 11.59 acre site at $140,000 or $12,080 per acre. Due to lack of interest in this site, staff recommends that this surplus parcel be sold through a public bid process to the highest bidder. The minimum price would be $140,000, which is the fair market appraised value. This approach is in compliance with the Public Authority Accountability Act and the authority's policy for the disposition of property guidelines. Resolved that the Board of Directors of the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority hereby authorizes the sale of the 11.59 acre surplus property known as the Bridge Approach Parcel. This parcel is clearly defined by the attached appraisal and the attached land survey. And be it further resolved that this parcel shall be sold to the highest bidder in an as-is condition. The site's previous use was for agriculture associated with the former state hospital, and the authority is not aware of any contamination from past practices on the site. And be it further resolved that advertising for this public bid process shall commence on March 1st and shall be accomplished through public notices in official newspapers of the authority and through notification on the New York State Contract Reporter. And be it further resolved that public bids received for this parcel shall be due no later than Tuesday, June 2nd at 3 p.m., at which time the bids shall be opened publicly, and be it further resolved that the bids will be evaluated by the Board of Directors, who will review the bids and approve the sale, should the acceptable bid be received. Be it further resolved that the authority reserves the right to reject any and all bids.
I want to comment though. You mentioned up in the report, this when the bidding got started 140, but it doesn't mention it down on the bottom, the resolve clause. So if you want a minimum, minimum bid, you better, I think you gotta put it down there too, 140,000.
In,
Well, in the resolve, you know, be,
Yeah.
the set bids,
we'll review the minimum bid, or,
well, you have the right to reject any bids,
right,
but I think you should make your bidders aware that you're looking for
140.
140 or up.
That's right.
Otherwise, you're gonna get bids, and they're gonna say, I bid 100,000, well, what's wrong with that?
Right.
So, that's all, this
So,
comment.
so in one of the resolutions, it needs to state clearly the minimum price would be, or bid start at 140,000. What is the correct wording?
So I think you can take the language from up in the report and just put it, be it resolved, that
Well, just take part.
the minimum price would be
Price, yeah.
140, which is the fair market price value.
Put that on
Yeah, just take that second sentence of the last paragraph in the report and make it a resolved paragraph.
All right.
the, should start it.
Well, you can put that in the last resolve clause, that the minimum bid 140, but you still reserve the right to reject all bids. Easiest place to
So put that in front of that the authority reserves the right. Does
reject.
that make sense, Anne Marie? On that last one? Oh, you, well, she's correct.
It's happening in real time.
What's going on?
Oh, there.
Just take the capital T out.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Thank you, Emery.
There, now it states,
That looks-
be it further
okay.
resolved that the minimum price will be 140,000, which is the fair market value, appraised value, it's a fair market appraised value. Okay. Okay? Everybody see the resolution on the screen?
Yeah, that's all right. I'd have put it in the same paragraph, but that's, a separate paragraph works fine.
That's fine?
That's fine. You just want everybody to be aware, so you don't get, opening bids for 50 grand or
All
something.
right. Okay, good, thank you.
And to be clear, we've gone through the proper process here, which, when you see, when you talk about the Public Authority Accountability Act
Right.
and our authorities product, we've exhausted all of the avenues for sale, and we're at one of the final ones would be what we're doing here, just to kind of simplify what we're doing.
And the mistake you're not gonna make is tagging it to some particular type of development. It's cost 30 years worth of litigation.
Yes, as I remember.
I was only on the
That
tail
wasn't
end.
my resolution, by the way, before. Take that. Discussion, none?
Do you wanna strike the
Motion?
word "and" from that? Right?
Where? No, and
Oh,
should
we
be
have
there.
them all, because there's more.
Oh, and, got it.
Open
Yep,
to the
follow.
last one.
Yeah.
I'm back out of my slumber. I was reading that and I go, yeah.
Motion?
I'll
make
the
motion. Megan, second.
Second.
Any discussion? Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Let's move on to. Agenda item A5, approval of easement permit supplement number 6 with Stevens Media Group, Augsburg LLC. Steve?
Staff has prepared an easement permit supplement of 6 with Stevens Media Group for 3 easements for radio equipment located on or near the Bridge Administration Building. The rate for each easement is of $300 per easement per year. If an easement is eliminated during the term of the agreement, however, the lessee will not be billed for future charges for that easement. Staff recommends approval of this supplemental agreement with Stevens Media. This is, go ahead.
You probably can answer my question. Is this new?
No, it's, they have a satellite dish to the north side of our garages, And then there's 2 on the buildings that they use for, I think it's microwave, or, I'm not quite sure, but they've been there a long time. I think they were put up in the mid-2000s, for the way they receive
Right.
all of their communications.
Is the annual fee the same as it has been, the $300?
Honestly, I couldn't say for sure, Megan.
Okay, oh, that's John.
Maybe, because they also rent from us too.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Is there a motion?
I would move.
Second?
Section.
Got that, Anne Marie?
I do.
Any discussion? Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Agenda item A6, approval of supplemental lease agreement number 7 with Stevens Media Group Augustine LLC. Mr. Lawrence? This is new?
Maybe a little bit of the wording, but this is the radio station upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And we really looked at it more from a financial standpoint. And a lot of, just so you know, some of the advertising that they did for us was part of the lease. So, given our financial situation, it was, John put a little more heavy emphasis on getting more per month and working out some things there, and did pretty good with this. So, it's, like I said, it's for the radio station on the 2nd floor. Staff has prepared supplement number 7 with Stevens Media Group for 1,689 square feet of office space on the 2nd floor of the Bridge Administration Building for a period of April 1st, 2020 through March 31st, 2025, at the rate of $2,111.25 per month. A condition of this agreement is that Stevens Media shall provide at no cost to the authority promotional advertising on behalf of the authority, and the value of this advertising should be no less than $4,000 a year. The value will be deducted from the yearly rental paid by Stevens Media Group. The authority has agreed to replace carpeting in the lobby and hallways during 2020 as time permits, and will refresh the rented area by cleaning and repainting walls and ceilings. Stevens Media Group also is required to provide proof of appropriate insurance coverage to the authority, namely the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority, as an additional insured.
Now, our staff will be doing replacing the carpeting.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're getting pretty good at it, especially with carpet tiles and stuff. We've got a pretty crack crew that, if we can buy the basic materials, we can shine a place up good. And the people that we've got here are basically the bridge guys, but they really have a talent for painting. Pretty close to professional grade, so I've been, and quite honestly, the radio station needs it. We really owe that to them.
You've read over the resolution, is there a motion?
Make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
I think,
Don't all jump in, we've only got
We need a
4 of
rotation.
I think this spells out a lease agreement that I don't think we had in the past. And I think it's fair to the authority, and it's fair to Stevens Media. And we certainly appreciate the fact that the ads they do have done for us have been good quality, and thank you for that. So, no further discussion. Anne Marie, call the roll.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes,
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you. Agenda item A7, approval of lease agreement with Glenda Jones. Steve?
Yes, this is for a 2nd floor office space that used to be occupied by Country Down. Country Down left the end of December, and the end of January, early February, they cleaned out their location so that it's been vacant for roughly 2 months. I couldn't tell you, anything about Glenda Jones, John's dealt with this, but staff has negotiated a lease agreement with Glenda Jones for 180 square feet of office space in room 209 of the Bridge Administration Building for a period of April 1, 2020 through March 31st, 2021 at the rate of $180 per month. This rate includes utility. Glenda Jones is also required to provide proof of appropriate insurance coverage to the authority named the Augsburg Bridge and Port Authority as the additional insured.
Thank you. The resolution is before you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Any discussion? Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes,
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you. Agenda item A8, acceptance of Tiger Grant for painting of the Augsburg Prescott International Bridge. Steve, this should feel good, eh?
It does. This is, the language in this resolution is recommended by the state and the federal authorities that are involved in this. So it's really between us and the State Department of Transportation because they're administering this. So,
This is a little over 18 million,
yes,
and our share is how much?
directly with this, our share is 0. Or
Love to hear that.
you set me up for that one.
Yes, I did.
2.5%.
And I think if, what's happened is the New York State Department of Transportation stepped in on our share of the Tiger Grant for $2.1 million, and they came up with that money, and with the promise from us that we will spend that on a future project over in Canada. So that's something we're gonna have to work toward. It also could be tied in with some of our, I believe, some of our internal, the monies that we spend on our crews. It would be a more significant project, but I think that might be the way that we could go. So, yeah, so the state DOT is, they come up with our share of the money for this, that, at this time is, we couldn't be more thankful to them for the support, on this. And they've been very good about it and very attentive to, our needs and, requests. The crew that I work with through Watertown has been very good with us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They've stepped up and, helped us out with this. This will go a long way to improving condition of the bridge. $18 million is certainly a nice chunk of money to put on the bridge, and we certainly thank state DOT for coming forth and understanding we have a need and being very helpful. So it's good to see that, they understand that we needed this and we're part of the state too.
Agreed. I will read the report.
I
You don't have to read
no,
it.
I don't have to.
Good. Why, do you think I'm showing off?
No, I think it's because it says a 0 at the bottom for our
Yeah,
share.
yeah,
We're just not.
that does matter.
Okay.
Any questions? Is there a motion? Quick, yeah, right?
Second.
Any discussion? You guys we need to thank DOT and the, I'm sure the governor's staff had a hand in this too, and we thank them for looking out for the North Country. Nothing else? Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
36 numbers.
Agenda item A9, approval of lease agreement with T-Base Communications. Mr. Lawrence?
We are negotiating with T-Base. As you know, we've had some issues with their building there, and we've resolved them, and we've been very attentive to their needs. And so their lease expires March 31st. They have been looking to increase their footprint in Ogdensburg, not just in the park, but other areas they're looking. But for now, they've agreed to a supplemental lease agreement. The staff has negotiated a supplemental lease agreement with T-Base Communication for 8,776 square feet of space in Building 12 of the Commerce Park for a period of April 1st, 2020 through March 31st, 2021 at the rate of $4,388 per month. In addition, T-Base will be responsible for a prorated share of all utilities for this space. All terms and conditions concerning insurance pertinent to the area shall be the same as stipulated in the original lease. I do want to point out, we're coming off a 5-year lease. This was 2015. This rate did not go up. That was something that I felt for just 1 year to keep it that way as a kind of a appreciation of what they had to go through with the building and some of the inconvenience that we caused or the building caused. So I just felt that just to keep the rate at that. So we are still dealing with the 2015 rate, but that was just how I felt we should go with that.
Well, I think it's a sign of goodwill on our part, and we appreciate everything they went through, and they're still here working with us, providing employment in our industrial park. We certainly appreciate that. And they are good people to work with. I've been in on some of those meetings, and very productive.
I think they like Ogdensburg, they look like they have a very good future, and we're gonna be working this year to do what we can to keep them in the park.
Questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second?
Any discussion? Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Ms. Whitten?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Motion carried.
16,000.
Anything else?
I don't know, would we like to schedule a finance committee meeting or a facilities committee meeting for in the next 2 weeks, or?
Regularly scheduled finance would be the 30th. That's normally what we do the last.
Yeah,
Monday
really,
of the-
just like our regular schedule. I mean, and if it's not necessary, we can let you know, but we just like to kind of nail that down.
So we're set for the 30th
For finance?
for finance, right?
Yes.
Is that okay? We can do facilities at the same time?
Like we did before? that-
Yeah.
We
that
have
can do.
that set for 3:30.
Right,
Yes.
Are you good, Chris?
Yes, that's good.
Dave?
and facilities immediately
To
following.
follow, if that's,
Okay.
Right, and if it's not necessary, we'll, if it can wait for another month, we realize the amount of time that you have to spend, so we'll try to minimize that.
And we're scheduled for a regular
I think
meeting.
as far as finance goes, it's good to take a look at every month's report.
Oh, yeah, good.
Worth doing it. That'll amount to a 12-month, no, that'll be an 11-month report, so I shouldn't jump the gun.
So we're good with April 9th, regular monthly meeting at 3:30?
I won't be able to do the 9 or the 10.
Oh,
What's that?
we're going on the 8th, or maybe not.
Right, we're going on
Maybe.
oh, there'll be nobody there when we get there.
Maybe.
That's true.
All right.
It's a new world.
So are we thinking of pushing it out another week to the
What works
following
for
week?
you?
If we look at
The following week,
The following,
I'm on vacation.
Of the twelfth,
Not that
After the
I-
13th.
Not that I go anywhere, but
the week of the twelfth is bad. No,
About-
well, not for me, it's not here. That's too bad.
I can do the 6th.
you can do April 6th.
No, I can't. 6th, 7th, 8th, or
Following week, not good?
The following week is okay, but are you
No,
No.
I'm gone,
You are on?
maybe.
I
I don't know.
You can take that both two ways.
Okay. What about the 20th? It's Monday.
I could do the 20th.
Yes,
I can do the 20th, all right?
At 3:30?
April 20th.
Is 3:30 okay, or?
Yes.
That's when
3:30
regular
is good?
meeting too?
All right, that's tentatively.
Regular meeting,
April 20th at 3:30 for a regular meeting. And is there a?
That's a,
Regular,
that could be tough. But I'm guessing the Japanese won't come to my house that day. So let's schedule
we better leave that as is.
I'm guessing they aren't coming, so,
I don't wanna know.
yeah,
All right, if we need to change it,
we'll just do it.
we'll just.
For right now, let's do it.
Right, Mr. Lawrence, I'm assuming there is a need for executive session?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there's a need to go into executive session for matters relating to section 105, 1F, and 1H of the Open Meetings Law.
Thank you.
I'll move before the executive session.
Okay, second?